and welcome to a special edition of Bronx Talk. I am very excited because I think this is one of the most incredible places in the world, not only in the Bronx. We're at the Renaissance Youth Center. I'm here with President and CEO Bervin Harris. Folks, you're going to get to see some unbelievable Bronx children and some unbelievable things. But let's just get an idea. How did we go from zero to having this incredible place at the Renaissance Youth Center?
So 22 and a half years ago, we founded the organization doing sports and music. And about 5 or 6 years ago, what you were able to see with the STEM programming, we realized we weren't meeting all kids. And so to do so, we started one room. I don't know where you went. I just let you go free.
Yeah, no, we ran wild, but you're going to see all this. It's great stuff. Go ahead.
But we started adding a room after room. So the first room was the zoology room, then the astronomy room, then the agriculture, so on and so forth. And now we have a full STEAM program: science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Why did you feel the need to do that? I mean, we don't want to diss our public schools. We're all public school children, but there's something kids were not getting that they could get here.
Right. So first it started with the music, right? So most of our schools don't have music programs in them. And so we wanted to meet that deficit. Then there was a kid named Matthew. And Matthew would come in every day and say, "Hey, Mr. Harris, how do I build this? How do I build that?" His mother said he was taking apart his toaster, that stuff at home. And I said, "Man, we're not helping Matthew." And so we wanted to offer some STEM programming to help him. And check this out. This kid is now on a 4-year scholarship at Dartmouth. And he often thanks this program for being helpful to making that happen for him.
We are going to speak to a number of children who are in that same situation, that they say, wow, the astronomy room inspired me, all those kinds of things. Talk a little bit about the growth of the kids. And now you mentioned one, so that's a superstar, but every child is going to grow in some way. What do you see in the children after they go through some of the programs?
I think you've met some of these rising stars, right? From Jonathan to Ray, who's in the astronomy room, who knows planets by numbers, right? And here's once again, if we were not offering these kind of services, would you ever know about astronomy? Would you ever know about parts of a computer? So we're seeing those kinds of things happen. We do a bio blitz with the American Museum of Natural History, where we set out for 3 days and nights with young people. And they are scientists and the curators are like, how do these kids know this stuff, right? Because they get it every day here. So we're seeing that type of growth. We're hearing kids say, I want to be an astronomer. I want to be a zookeeper. And I wonder if you would have ever said that if you were not in this program.
Well, there's no question that they would not have done that. In terms of getting it funded, is it government funding? Do you get grants? I mean, this stuff costs money to run a building. I mean, running a building is an expense.
Yeah. Just the building alone, listen, and we have a pretty good rent situation here, but I'm paying $50,000 a month. It's a lot of money. We're not even talking about Con Edison, high Con Edison, in terms of what we have to pay for that. So it is a lot of money. I do want to thank DYCD, Department of Youth and Community Development. They help pay for the infrastructure in terms of the staffing and stuff like that. But when you look at tanks and you look at the stars and all these robots that we buy, we have to raise money. And that's through our gala, through the knee pads that I wear. I'm begging all the time, please help, right? It's an endless battle, and you know what this is all about, right? So for those who are out here who want to help and assist and with some funding, renaissanceyouth.org. Hit that donate button.
In the lobby, it says, this is, I don't have the exact word. This is
the wish I had when I was a kid.
This is the place I wish I had when I was a kid. I think a lot of us who grew up and go into community centers, and we have wonderful community centers in the Bronx, if they come in here, they would say, wow, this really is a place that I would have loved to have.
Yeah, that quote comes from walking people around. And when I walk them out, they say, man, this is a program I wish I had when I was a kid. I said, if I had a nickel for every time someone says that, I'd be okay. So we put that quote up on the wall. And I can contest and say I didn't have a recording studio when I was a kid to anybody to teach me. I didn't have all these types of things. So I'm happy that we can bring this to our inner city kids.
I think you're going to let me loose now and let our crew loose all around the building. Here we are. We're hard by 3rd Avenue. It's tucked away. Nobody knows we're here. But what we're trying to do is talk about one of the most important places in the borough of the Bronx. Are you ready?
I am ready. Enjoy yourself. Meet the RYC family, the culture, our young people, and our staff. Have a good time.
All right, here we go. We are here in the zoology room with Angel. Hello, Angel.
Hi.
And with Zena.
Hello.
And Jessica's on the side. She's the instructor. This is just an incredible room. We have a gecko jumping across the table. This is who? Who's this?
The Russian tortoise.
This is a Russian tortoise. And what is the Russian tortoise's name?
The Russian tortoise's name is Taco.
And you enjoy being here in the zoology room?
Yes, I do.
Why do you enjoy being here in the zoology room?
Because I get to like learn about more like animals that I never heard of like before I even came here.
Mm-hmm. And when you come in here, what do you do? Like, what do you actually do? And by the way, we're going to see there's fish and there's the tortoise and the gecko and everything else. But what do you do when you come in here essentially every day, just about?
So like, what we do is like sometimes we do water changes. We sometimes changes the reptiles, the tanks, and sometimes we get to play with them outside the hallway.
Mm-hmm. And I assume you feed them, right?
Yes.
And so for you, Zena, this has been really a joy. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, I have.
And why is this so much fun for you?
For me, it's so much fun. It's because every year we have a new project. We learn something new. Every year we get a new animal we can learn about. It's very fun.
And do you have a favorite animal in this room? You like them all, I know that.
But my favorite is Sunny, the leopard gecko.
The gecko. Now, could you hold Jessica's here with the gecko? That's what they named the insurance company after. We know that. That's Geico. What have you learned about animals and maybe even about life in general?
About animals, I've learned a lot. I've learned their habitats. I've known where they're from. I've learned their temperature. And for life lessons, I've known just be yourself, tell the truth, and speak up.
Wow. And we're getting examples of that right here. And then what about for you? What have you learned? I mean, aside from the fact, do we want to put him down? He's going to go running across the table, I'm sure. There he goes. But it's actually a she, right? That's what a female. So what have you learned from being in here?
I've learned that like sometimes you might make mistakes, but don't continuously do it, because then you something might happen to the animals, and we don't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm. So what it sounds like is that not only do you learn to care for the animals, but I'm just hearing you say that there are like life lessons. There are things that you learn. You say like if you make a mistake, you can still figure out how to do it, right? Does this help you, let's say, in school or with interaction? Because I know that you and Zena seem to collaborate over these animals. So is it good for you? Tell me a little bit about that.
Like it helps me. Sometimes I think of nothing, but when I come through the zoology room, I have a lots of things to think about.
Name one. When you come in here, what do you think about?
I think about how
Okay, the big fish that's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think if it grows as big as a tank, how would it be able to swim everywhere then?
In other words, like if it was in the ocean, for example. And what about for you? What kinds of things have you learned?
The things I've learned here is urban and suburban ecology, more about it because we did a project about that a few years ago, but I learned even more.
Well, I want to hear about that. Urban and suburban ecology. What is the difference between urban? Of course, we're here in the Bronx. What is the difference between urban and suburban ecology?
So the difference between urban and suburban ecology is the animals. So there's pigeons in suburban ecology, but in suburban ecology, they are most likely hiding. So you won't see them at all. In urban ecology, pigeons are everywhere.
So when you walk out the door here, now we live in the Bronx, which is an urban place. When you walk out the door here, you are able to apply that and say, oh, wait a minute, this is an urban setting, so to speak.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Does this enhance or reflect what you do in school, or it's not related? I mean,
it kind of does, because in school,
I love that smile that she gave me when I asked that question.
In school, we learn a lot about animals too, because a teacher, she used to work in a zoo.
Right.
So we learned out about animals. She tells us stories. So I could kind of relate to it. I could tell her like, "Oh, I've already learned that. I could tell you more about it."
Wow. And so this really enhances, what you learn. Can I show this? I'm sorry. This is not a live animal, despite the fact that there's huge fish and all different things. What is this? We're gonna.
This is a deer head.
A deer head, ladies and gentlemen. There is a deer head in the Bronx. Go ahead.
So this is a fully grown adult head, and I think Mr. Harris was driving, then he found that, so he decided to bring it to Renaissance Youth Center, so us zoology kids could help Miss J like clean it out. So the things that
So you cleaned it up. Now, can I pick that up? So, and it's got like teeth. You were showing me. They were actually learning the molars. These are the molars, right, of a deer, right? Did you want to say something else about that? Oh, okay. So what did you learn from this?
I learned that this is.
Oh, so you see, I was holding it up. I was being a dentist with it. Okay.
So I learned that this is a female or male deer. We know that this is either a female or male deer.
Okay.
Because male deers in the wild, they'll cut off their antlers. Female deers, they don't have antlers.
Oh. So that's interesting. All right. Well, listen, this has just been an absolute joy to be with you. If you were going to tell somebody like somebody else who never had this opportunity to be in the zoology room at the Renaissance Youth Center, what would you tell them then? What would you say?
I would say to just join this class and see what happens, because there's lots of things. I can't even explain one thing because then it will lead to another and I'll just spend the whole day explaining.
Angel, thank you. Shake my hand and wave goodbye. We'll see you. We're going to go into another room where they learn about other stuff at the Renaissance Youth Center. See you later. I am so happy to be in the agriculture room with Veronica and with Joanna. Nice to see you. Now, how are you, Joanna?
I'm good.
Okay. And you, Veronica?
I'm good.
Good. Tell me a little bit about what goes on in this room. It's a lot fresher than the other room because there's plants here. Tell me what plants are here and what it is that you're doing here.
Okay, so sometimes in agriculture we plant ants, and this is the urban station.
Okay, and what do you do at the urban station?
In the urban station we plant plants is Paris lettuce, buttercrunch lettuce, and bib lettuce.
Buttercrunch lettuce sounds pretty good. Now, when you plant and then ultimately they grow, are you able then to eat it or to serve it and give it to people? I mean, is that what we do? About how much does it turn out, I don't know, every week, every month? I mean, you piles of it or a little bit? You're not sure? Okay. Joanna, what do you think about the amount of lettuce and other things that get grown here?
The other things that we grow here, we are sometimes we're growing our own plants, but mostly we take care of the plants we have, like the snake plant.
Which is the snake plant?
That one over there.
That's the snake plant. And why do we call it a snake plant? And what do you do to take care of it?
We call it the snake plant because it's due to the stripes on the pattern.
Oh, that makes it look like a
details.
snake.
And there's a such thing as a female snake plant where it has yellow on the side.
I see. Have you learned a lot, Veronica, here? Tell me about some of the things that you've learned while you've been here.
Some of the plants is a golden pothos. We have 5 of them in here.
Say that again. What's the name of it?
It's called a golden pothos.
Golden pothos.
Yeah.
Okay. And what characterizes that? What is that about?
It's called a golden pothos because it gets the golden flecks in its leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And we take care of it by watering it once a week.
Mm-hmm. And there's a whole schedule on the board there about watering stuff. Do you enjoy coming in here to do it? About how often do you come in here?
Every day, but not on Wednesday because Wednesday.
Okay. Okay, so you do 4 or 5 days a week, and what do you like about doing it? Why do you like doing it, and why is it important to do it? And I'm going to ask you the same question in a moment. Go ahead.
I like doing it because we get to plant plants, and it's important to me because like I want to take care of the plants and make sure they don't die.
You want to make sure they die, but of course it helps us in life, right? To have plants around us and all those kinds of things. Tell me a little bit about why it's important to do this and why this is a good activity for you.
The reason why this is good for the earth because is we live in an urban station that doesn't have a lot of plants.
That's right, because we have so many buildings and all that in the borough of the Bronx.
And people will chop down like the trees, which makes it less and less plants.
Mm-hmm. And of course that means less air and more carbon dioxide that pollutes the environment. You were telling me about some of the plants back here. What are those plants that are over there?
One of these are called the aloe. The aloe is something that when you cut it open, you see this goo inside of it.
Yeah,
and
kind of it's like liquid that comes out.
Yeah, it's used for like face masks and like sunburns.
Mm-hmm. I know I've used it actually when you get a sunburn. How long did it take to make a plant like that?
I wasn't here for
You weren't
that
here for
long.
that? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Veronica, tell me a little bit about the hydroponics and the hydroponic farm that we have here.
The hydroponics is planting plants in water, and we're planting the same lettuce that we're planting in the urban station.
Mm-hmm. But what's interesting to me is you would do it in a garden, but you're doing it actually indoors. Do you have to water it every day? What do?
We just put water inside, and then the water just waters the plants.
You put a little, and the water it helps it to grow. What would you say to other young people about working in this room and working with the plants that you think would make them interested in it?
We are growing the plants and lettuce in this place in the hydroponic, like by only using water and minerals. We have to test the pH. If it's less than a 7, it's acidic, and if it's more than 7, it's a basic.
Mm-hmm. And you've learned all that in this, so that's pretty valuable, right? I mean, that's really good information. So if you wanted to grow plants in your home, for example, you could do that, right? Yeah. What's the one thing that you say, gee, I did all this work in the agriculture room, and I learned what?
Well, I learned about the pH. pH means that potential hydrogen.
Right.
And it's supposed to be, the pH is supposed to be at 6.5 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
7 is neutral.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to get to so that the plants stay healthy and we stay healthy, of course. Anyway, Veronica, thank you so much for joining me and joining us here on Bronx Talk. Thank you so much, Joanna, and good luck. And let's wave goodbye. And we're going to go in the next room, but we'll see these guys another time. See you later. We are in the architecture and design room, which is really very interesting, especially if you think about the borough of the Bronx and where we are in our urban center compared to other places. I'm here with Taisha. Nice to see you, Taisha. And Athena, nice to see you. Tell me a little bit about all the different stations, all the different areas in this room.
A little bit about each station is that each station has a structure which was our first homes, like the Stone Age that has caves that were our first homes, and then they developed to mud houses, and
that was ancient Egypt,
yeah.
Right? Okay. And then keep going around the room, and we have all different ones, right?
And then in ancient Rome, there was an aqueduct, which traveled water from the mountains to the city.
Which was a good lesson for us because that's how we got. That's how we get our water now. Go ahead, keep going.
And in the city of us, they made houses made out of Legos, and they made a blueprint and a flag.
Before we move away from that, so that helps you understand our neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. And then what's the one behind us? This looks like the Bronx here.
That one's the Bronx Utopia. They named it the Bronx Utopia because in there's no harm and it's a bit better.
It kind of gives you something to aim for, right? So let's go with Athena now. Why don't you pick it up here? So here is the Bronx, and that's where there's no harm, so to speak, because it's a utopia. What do we have next as we go around the room?
What we have next is New York City. We have in New York City, they call it the Big Apple, the Empire State. And
So I can see you have the World Trade Center there, and the Freedom Tower, and the Statue of Liberty. And does it? And what's this one? And then I'm going to ask you what you learn about it.
so this one,
Turn around here so they can see you on the camera.
so this one's like it's like solar panels. So like it's talking about like getting like energy from the moon to the earth, and like you have to like it's like the moon ring. It takes power from the moon to the earth and goes to the energy conversion phases. Then it goes to the beams, and then it lands to the shore.
Right. And so that's a way of getting, that would be the future of New York City. Think about how far away we came from the original one, all the way to potentially changing the world in a good way. One of the ones that really interested me is kind of that whole diorama that's over there. What is that one about?
That one's about like urban, suburban. Urban, suburban, like urban has like a lot of buildings and less nature. Suburban has a lot of nature and less people.
And do you enjoy coming in here?
Yes.
What do you enjoy about it?
I tried about it. It's like learning like new things about urban, suburban, and a lot of stuff.
Okay. And do you have a favorite area out of all the areas that you told us about?
No, not really.
That's fair enough. And what do you like about it, and what have you learned coming into this room and working with all the different areas?
So what I learned when I was coming to this room is that we were learning how the houses develop by the ages.
So you learned about that. Does it help you learn a little bit about your own, our own community?
Yeah.
Like what? Here we're talking about a utopia. At least you learn about how we can get to somewhere really good.
So we would want like the Bronx to be like this mostly because it has like a parenting center which helps parents drop off their kids when they go to work, and like a mental health center.
So what you did was you put things that really help you and your family and other people do better, right?
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about when you go to school during the day, do you ever think about, gee whiz, this is some of the stuff that I've learned here? I mean, how does that help you in school?
It helps me remember stuff in school because in school we do this almost all the time.
And then you come here and you really get a chance to study it. I guess it's a lot more fun coming into the Renaissance Youth Center.
Yeah, it is because we get to do different stuff. And we could have fun sometimes.
Do you make friends as a result of doing this? I mean, like you're friends now with Taisha as a result?
Yeah. I make friends with my my classmates, my old friends, and my new friends.
That's pretty exciting. When you look at this, do you think of what we can do in the future and say like the future one with better energy? I mean, that must be something that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting to to have battery during the night, and you're gonna have energy like 24/7.
Yeah, I think I like that idea a lot. Listen, what I like is hanging out with you guys because you guys are really special and you're doing something really important. So Taisha, so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay, and Athena, nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll say goodbye, and they're going to be here working in this room. We're going to go into the other room. Wave goodbye to everybody. Come on. Here we go. All right, we'll see you in the next place. You know, in TV, they say lights, camera, action. And in fact, there are no lights on in this room because we are in the astronomy room at the Renaissance Youth Center. I'm here with Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Okay, and we're here with Kaylin. Hi, Kaylin.
Hi.
And why don't we start with you, Ben? Explain what the astronomy room is. There actually are planets around here, aren't there?
Yes, there are, and there are 8 planets in the solar system. This is our solar system.
This is our solar system, and the planets are arranged as a solar system. Can you name all the planets?
First one is Mercury. Second one is Venus. Third is Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, and Uranus and Neptune.
And I'm waiting to hear about Pluto. What's the deal?
The deal is that it hasn't finished its full rotation around the sun, and it is too small for its equilibrium.
So when I was taught that there were 9 planets, I was taught wrong.
Yep.
Pretty much. Talk to me about the room, the constellations and those things. You seem to have had some creativity in that. Tell us about that.
So our room is filled with zodiac constellations. So we all made it by using string and thumbtacks. And if you want to know how is a constellation is made.
That is what I was going to ask you. How is a constellation made?
A constellation is made when a group of stars form a pattern in our solar system.
Is there a way to even characterize how many numbers? Or, of course, the universe is infinite, so we don't really know. I asked her a question that she couldn't answer. Who knows? Tell me about learning in here. You come in here and what do? You look at the stars, you create more constellations. What is the most important thing that you do here?
The most important thing to do in astronomy is like to have fun and learn more about space. And there's like more secrets that we don't know about our universe yet that we need to unlock.
Were you interested in space beforehand, or when you came to the Renaissance Youth Center, you walked in here and said, "Oh, this might be good"?
Yeah.
That's basically what happened. Mm-hmm. What's the most interesting aspect of this to you?
Mostly the nebula.
Tell me about the nebula.
The nebula in our room has like different colors in it, so it's kind of like clouds with different colors of it.
Mm-hmm. And it must be fun to create those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Let me go back over here with Ben before he gets bored. Tell me a little bit about what's most interesting to you in here. You seem to really have grasped a lot of what this is about.
So I have learned a lot about this, and the most favorite thing I ever learned is exoplanets.
Say that again?
Exoplanets.
All right. Now you're going to have to teach me something.
Yep. Exoplanets are planets that are outside our solar system.
And how do we discover them, and how do we know what they are? I mean, you'd need a pretty big telescope to figure that out, wouldn't you?
You figured it out.
With a big telescope. Had you been interested in space and astronomy before this?
Yep.
And when you walked in here for the first time, what did you think?
I saw a lot of cool things. Like, this was very different back then. The sun was here, and the planets followed it in a straight line.
And why did you guys change it around to put the sun in the middle of the room and then the planets around it?
It's because it goes that way because the planets cannot be in a straight line all together. So it needs to be in different places.
And did you folks, when you put them in different places, you measured so that the proportions are accurate? In other words, this is in essence how far away Earth is from the sun in relation to other planets?
Yes.
That's pretty exciting. What does this do for you and your education and your growth? I mean, does it inspire you?
Yes, it is inspiring, and this learns that the planets are not in a straight line, but they're all around the solar system.
Mm-hmm. And what about the notion of these constellations? I mean, these stars are so far away. Each one of them is a sun in and of itself, isn't it?
It's just like they make a pattern that looks like the zodiac signs that we have.
Mm-hmm. And for you, is this a good thing for you to learn about? I mean, does it enhance your education, inspire you? Tell me a little bit about how it affects you and how you participate in this.
I think this room is really fun, and if you wanted to be an astronomer, this would be like a good room for you.
It would be a good start. Is that something that you would want to do?
Yeah.
You think that because you've done this, it's inspired you to maybe one day be traveling in space? Wouldn't that be amazing? Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. Okay, listen, we are going to say goodbye. We'll say goodbye. We're not going to say goodbye to the sun. We'll say goodbye to all the other planets. So wave goodbye. We'll see you later. You're going to wave? There we go. And we have one more place to go, and we're going to do that in next. We are in the robotics room. It's an exciting place. We have two great guys here. Jonathan, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Jonathan really has a lot to say. Stick around. You're going to get that. And Johan does as well. Nice to see you, Johan.
You too.
Thank you. Johan, explain what we do in the robotics room in general.
So what we do here is build, code, and learn here.
And did you do this before you came here? Like, did you have an interest in this, or did this inspire you and you said, wow, this is pretty cool?
Well, I had an interest in it, and it also inspired me at the same time.
A little bit of both. So we're going to show you some of these inventions, and they're like unbelievable. So we're going to start with you. You hang out. This one is the most obvious. Come on over here and describe to me what Project Poop is.
Project Poop is basically a trash can that we got from the Department of Sanitation. And we got this trash can with the Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is basically a motherboard.
Wait. A Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, Raspberry Pi. That's the creator made because it was his favorite meal, his favorite kind of dessert. Okay. Also, another thing about this trash can uses a motherboard called Raspberry Pi. And Raspberry Pi is basically a computer and a motherboard at the same time. Well,
now, why in a project called Project Poop do we need a motherboard? One would think, frankly, we scoop the poop and we throw it in. But what does that technology do for us?
When you open this, it counts how much people have been taking. You see the sensor right in there. It shows you, so you open it, how many people.
All right, so we open it up and there's a sensor inside. Woo! I knocked it off there, I'm sorry. And so what does that tell you?
It tells you how much people have been throwing this coop or have saved the world.
Okay, that's fair enough. What else do we have in here that's of interest? I'm going to get out of your way. Go ahead.
We also have the Robomaster. The Robomaster is a kind of truck or a kind of RC, and this thing is
wait. Let's see. So it's a kind of truck. Now, can you make it move?
Yes, it moves side to side because of its wheels, and it's called Omni wheels. Also, it moves side to side because instead of turning, it's side to side for safety, and also this thing is for coding as well. It also has block coding.
Now, did you build this? You and your colleagues?
Yes.
Friends? Wow, that's kind of unbelievable. I'd show us a couple more, and then we're going to bring Jonathan in. Go ahead.
Another one is the blind stick. A blind stick.
Wait, I thought that was Jonathan's thing to show. So what is that other the red car there?
The red car is basically the same thing. And other things about the Roadmaster is made by DGI, and DGI stands for Dot Jing Innovations.
All right. Are we ready now to show the blind stick? All right, Jonathan, I'm going to give you the floor. Explain to us let's look at the camera and explain to us what it is.
So the blind stick is for people that have a hard time walking to places like.
And for people who are blind and visually impaired.
Yes.
Okay.
So, we made this because most of the time, people are tired of getting hit by sticks by people that have the stick.
Yeah, if they would walk into something like a curb or a building or a car.
Yes.
Okay.
So, robotics had an idea of a smart stick. So, right here we have the Arduino Mega motherboard,
Right.
and we have an ultrasonic sensor. And fun fact about us.
Well, wait. Let's explain what these sensors do. So somebody who's blind and visually impaired would be going like this, right?
All right.
Right.
So,
and what would happen if they came close to, let's say, a car or a curb or something?
So, what it would do when it's near something, it will begin to beep.
It would beep, and they would be able to hear it.
Yes.
So, as opposed to them maybe making a mistake or not feeling it, the sensor would see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it works pretty well.
Yeah, it works well.
Now, you did something with it that was like an innovation, right? You went the next step. Can we ask Johan to wear the goggles?
Yes.
Okay, turn around, look at the camera, and let's explain to people what do the goggles do. Now, the stick was a little heavy for some people, right?
Yes.
So why did we make the goggles?
So the reason why we made the goggles is because right now people are getting tired of holding a stick on their hand. So, and it's really heavy. So,
There, that sounds like he saw something in front of him. Yeah. So that means if somebody would wear that, what would happen?
So if they just ran up to a wall, it will begin to do this. And it's really loud.
Wow. Now, obviously, it would have to be transformed. People can't walk around with wires, but this is a prototype.
Yes, it's a prototype.
Explain to me why you're so interested in robotics and these kinds of things.
Because the coding, I wanted to learn how to code when I was younger because I wanted to make my own game when I was younger.
Ah, it was video games.
Yes.
That was what motivated you. Okay, go ahead.
And then my teacher taught me about Scratch. Scratch is a program where you code. It's a beginner's code website. So people make like mini games, anything basically.
It gives you greater range to make stuff. All right, let me move in here. Did we want to talk about, is this a 3D printer? We've heard a lot about these things. Come a little closer to me. And now, what is this 3D printer?
A 3D printer is basically a thing that prints with filament. If you know what filament is, this thing is like here. Also, the filament travels through this hot wire, which it heats up and turns to liquid to build stuff like this.
So this was actually made from nothing in that printer?
By filament.
It's kind of incredible.
Yes, it is.
And when you think about it, what applications do you think it might have? I mean, you can obviously we're concerned about people making guns and other things of destruction, but these are things you could do to be helpful.
Yeah. Also, we could build like keys or something for like help people out.
Wow, fascinating. Stand over here. What do you think about doing in the future? I know you have video games in the future, but learning all this technology is probably very helpful in a lot of things.
So what I'll be doing in the future is helping to build robots because in the future, we'll have robots to take over the job, cook stuff, and all of that.
They can cook? Uh-oh.
In the future, they will be cooking. And I'll be the person to fix robots or build one if I could.
Wow, this has really been an amazing experience for you at the Renaissance Youth Center, hasn't it been?
It really has been.
It really has been. Johan, tell me about the experience for you. It's been pretty good, right?
Experience for me was when I first started this, I didn't really know about robotics. But then I found robotics. I really wanted to be in it because I always want to help people out, so build stuff, or like my dad did and stuff.
It's really nice to do the technology, but what's nice for me is that you guys are thinking about doing it to help people.
Like also we made a blind stick to help blind people, or help people that are physically impaired.
And think about all the other stuff you could do. All right, come close to me. Let's look at the camera and say goodbye. Say, we love Renaissance Youth Center.
We love Renaissance Youth Center.
We sure do. We're going to wrap this up in just a moment. Okay, well, my eyes are wide. My tongue is hanging out because I cannot believe the incredible young people we saw here at the Renaissance Youth Center. The thing that came through, aside from all the specifics, they're all positive, and they all learn about architecture to build a better Bronx, or they learn about robotics to help people. That's something that you consciously try and instill.
Well, that's coming through out of the SDG movement, right? The 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So had an opportunity to go into the United Nations and brought back all that love and that education back here. So now kids understand that we are coding for a purpose, or we're taking care of the agriculture room for a purpose. And that what's that purpose? To sustain and make the world a better place. And so,
and you never lose sight of where they're from, so that they should see this is our neighborhood and it can be better. And if we do this, we can make the world better.
Right, absolutely. This is, as you know, this is the poorest congressional district in America. But that being said, I always say global problems, but local solutions. So can we clean up and fix the whole world? No. But can we do the 63 feet in front of our Renaissance Youth Center? Yes. And that's where change begins.
And so we do architecture and astronomy and hydroponics and robotics. What is this all about, the battle bots for New York?
So BattleBots for New York is something that's funded through Broadcom Foundation. So big ups to Broadcom, Paul, and the crew. The idea is, how do I trick young people into understanding and loving coding?
Good luck with that.
Right? And I'm going to tell you, it works. So we set this room up like it was a Tyson Holyfield fight, right? So team 1, team 2, national anthem, live dancers, live band. And it was team 1 against team 2. And I want to start this battle off in the Bronx, and we have Queens, and we have, Staten Island. And ultimately, can you imagine going to Yankee Stadium, having the battle of New York and coding and robotics and flying drones with all New York City kids? Because
I've been walking through the Renaissance Youth Center, yes, I can imagine that, because that's the inspiration that we get. Bervin Harris, thank you so much. Thank you for everything you do for our Bronx kids. And I guess we'll see you around, because you're not stopping, right?
No, I'm not stopping. But I want to say thank you for you guys coming here. And you're not here because there was gunshots in front of the building.
No.
Or riot. You're here to celebrate, and thank you for that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. That's all. And you know what's going to happen? If the curtain don't fall and the creek don't rise, we'll be back next week. Good night.